Cody, this message is directly to you, son. Your daddy still loves you. But as things are right now, I don't want you anywhere around me. You are a nut. You are completely off your rocker. There's been nothing that you've said or acted on about your mama and me that's come true. You told your loving mother to not come to your house anymore and bring you anything to eat. You told your mama not to bring her loving family to the hospital when the baby was born. You told your mother not to buy a Christmas tree for the baby or Christmas gift. You told your family and friends to only buy gifts on an approved list for your shower, baby shower. And then you expressed how mad you was at me for the people that bought things that wasn't on the list. You got mad at your mama and me for helping some people that was practically just kids. They was 20, 21 years of age, living out in the woods in Silver Springs, where you live. And there was some drug activity, but these were just kids that was just raised kind of this way. I went in there in the wintertime with them, no power and no heat, and it was, I believe it was 30, 28 degrees, 30 degrees, and when you breathe, you could see your breath, obviously, when it was that cold. And these kids was living in this situation. And you've had a problem with us helping these people. You're nuts. And you made me and your mama an enemy when we haven't done anything but helped you. You're nuts. You're completely off your rocker. You told me that you thought your house was haunted. You told me you thought the blacks was going to come by and shoot up your house. That neighborhood you live in is probably 95% white. You said that. I helped you with your plumbing. You was going to hire a plumber to come out there to stop your drain. And that's what we do for a living. And I kind of leaned on you a little bit and I said, well, we can fix that. That's what we do. And we got over there and we cleaned your drain. And it wasn't even the drain, it was your fill line. And then we went and got my tractor and we put your header line in. Didn't cost you a dime. But, I'm a bad guy. I'm out to hurt you. And then I come over there and I helped you with your eaves. And then I come over there when you was about to pull your hair out. You was trying to remodel that little room there in your hallway, and leaves was blowing through a hole in the side. You was about to lose it, and you was saying, I can't get them leaves, quit blowing in here. And then we went outside and found the hole. And I didn't even do the work. I just kind of talked you through it because I told you. Before y'all got married, I believe. I've told Dustin this too. If y'all ever get married, you need to do the work at your house yourself. And you don't even need to let your daddy-in-law come around too much. You don't need to be mean to him, but you need to take care of your own house. And that's why I didn't want to do the work over there at your house. I just wanted to be there to help you because I wanted your wife to see that you could solve that problem. I told you about some stock, and I've encouraged you and Lindsay both to get in the stock market. I told you one time, and I meant it even after you and Lindsay was married, that if y'all wanted to go back to school and get an engineering degree or even go get a doctorate, y'all could have moved back in my house. Went to UAB. You'd had to get you some student loans or something. But you ain't coming back to my house now. And I ain't saying you want to. You made an enemy out of me and your mom, and we ain't done nothing but helped you. You got yourself in a... This is how ridiculous you are. You're a nut. You are a nut. You got pulled over by the police for speeding, and you argued with him. And you admitted to it. You're a nut. You had a wedding in a barn where y'all had dancing and drinking and a half homosexual preacher. I wouldn't even have had a wedding. I'd have just shacked up, because a wedding is a religious ceremony. That's why you get married in the church. It's supposed to be a holy situation. And your wife was up there dancing with all these other fat girls, and there wasn't but one girl in that whole bunch that should have been dancing the way they was dancing. And she shouldn't have been doing that. And she was a good-looking girl. The rest of them were fat. And why am I saying that? Because they've got an image in their mind. Your wife's got an image in her mind of something that she's not. You've got an image in your mind of something that you're not. Somebody's projected this image on you. It's not that you're a bad guy. But you've created this image in your mind about yourself. It ain't real. And then you've had something projected on you about me and your mama. That ain't real. My question is, what kind of pills are you on? You're about like that woman over at Vestavia that time that told me that I was speaking evil over her drain. And it was going to stop up because I said she needs to do away with it if she can. And she said, you're speaking evil over my drain. And I asked her, what kind of pills is she on? Well, son, what kind of pills are you on? What kind of crap are y'all taking? What kind of idiocy have y'all gotten involved in? Or if you just married into a family that sees booger bears around every corner, that's looking at ingredients on bottles and making sure it's not nothing going to hurt you if you bring it in the house. Or y'all politically scared all the time that Joe Biden's been fenced in at the White House up there. Some of these things we can be concerned about, but you got to still live a balanced life, and you're a nut. You are a nut. Your wife is a nut. And at some level, your wife's family's a nut. I rode up the river with y'all, and all your dad-in-law could do was talk about the big houses everybody had. And he was asking me about flat earth. And I told him, well, mathematically, it's flat. And his crazy self said, well, I think the numbers are wrong, but it's a lot bigger. It's a lot bigger than that. And what they're telling us really don't make sense. And I said, yeah, well, if you increase the size of the earth, you change the gravity. And if you change the gravity, you change the spin of the earth. If you change the spin of the earth, you change our time. And this stuff's easy to understand. But what you've fallen victim to, son, is a cult in that family. Just like the cult that went on around that COVID stuff and had everybody really scared. And me and you sat over at the house and we talked about this thing about human nature, where they'll sit around and devise in their mind that one group's evil to build a mass psychosis. And you are in a mini mass psychosis with that family over there. You're nuts. The last thing I want to do is call DHR. The bad thing about it, that's all I'm left to do. Because it ain't about you no more, because you're a nut. You're crazy. You drew a pistol on your brother, and you knew he had a key to your house. Think about that. You're a nut. I'm going to do my best not to call DHR. I'm telling you, mama, I want her to leave you alone. You're crazy. You've abused her, you've abused me, and you've abused your mama Sheila. You are a nut. You married into a nut family, and your wife's a nut. This is the deal, son. You had an uncle die in prison because he was a nut. And nobody said nothing to him. They just let him be a nut until he went too far. And they locked his nutty self up for doing some awful stuff. A few years before he got arrested, everybody was talking about how he was going out to Arizona getting coffee enemas. And, we just don't understand it. He's just got some problems. And then I was down there one day with him at a family get-together, and he told me that a turkey crossed the road in front of him, and he got a message from it. I tried not to laugh. He was serious. I got up and just walked off. That's the only polite thing I could do. He was a nut. He was a nut. Cody, you're a nut. You're a nut, son. You've lost you're insane. Your mom and me ain't your enemy. We gave you, it wasn't a whole lot of money, but if we're the enemy, we wanted to support you in your marriage. We gave you money like a good parent does to, at your wedding. It wasn't a whole lot, but it wasn't necessarily a small amount either. We've helped you with your house. Your mama wanted to bring you something to eat. She brought your stuff to you. She bought your baby a Christmas tree, and we're the problem. And she also helped some homeless people in the community. And you're a nut. You're insane. But the family you married into's got problems. Reading the back of a ingredients, what's in it? What's in it? What's in it? They're crazy. Your wife's crazy. I'm going to do my best not to call DHR. That's the only thing I got left to do, though, when I get to thinking about it. And I'm trying not to let my mind run away with me like you have yours. But my grandbabies hung up in it. This ain't about you and Lindsay no more. Y'all are so nutty. Y'all are off the reservation. That grandbaby got to be raised in this. You're a nut. Go do the math on the flat earth. It ain't about the earth being flat. It's about it not being the way they tell us it is. And this is why I'm telling you that. This is why the flat earth matters. It ain't about the shape of the earth. It's not the way they tell us it is. And the human mind can have things projected in it that makes them believe things that's not real. Just like when people watch Yellowstone, and the first thing you know, people go out, they live in an apartment, bought them a big four-wheel drive, and got them a leather jacket and a cowboy hat. And they live in an apartment. Nuts. And that's what you've had happen to you. You've had somebody project on you a false belief, and you've acted on it. And that's why you're going to stay away from me. But your uncle did the same thing. And he ended up in the penitentiary dying in it. You better check yourself, Cody. And if I hear of anything, I will call DHR to check you if you won't check yourself.